Hello and welcome to the newest installation of our TigerCreate tutorial series. In this part, I will show you how to create iOS apps. First, of course, we need the tool Xcode Installed. This is important for the iOS simulator and to create apps and put them on the devices. Just open up the App Store on your Mac and look for Xcode. Here it is. It's a free tool, so just download and install it. I already did this. Please watch out that you always have the newest version of Xcode, like here at this time it's 6.3.2. After you installed Xcode, it's time to get to be a member of the Apple Developer Program. So open Safari and go to developer.apple.com, and here you find some information about how the program works. It's important to enroll and to select the correct type of your program. You can enroll as an individual, that's for a freelance developer for example, or as an organization. Organization is a bit more complicated. You have to provide a DUNS number, and you have to provide maybe some paperwork, and this might take some time. It still costs $99 per year for enrolling as individual or as an organization. After you enrolled and Apple accepted everything, you can go to the Member Center. So go to developer.apple.com, choose the Member Center, and there you have to log in. I'm already logged in with my developer credentials. Now select Certificates, Identifiers and Profiles for iOS apps. This here is the most important part, where you set up all the stuff you need for your apps. Go to the Certificates, and here you see that no certificate is set up in the beginning. You can do this manually, but it's quite complicated. The best way to handle this is to use Xcode for this. I start Xcode now, open up the preferences, and here you have to set up your developer membership. I already did it, of course, but you can do it using the plus sign and use Add Apple ID. If you add the Apple ID that belongs to your developer account, here your developer account will appear. Click for View Details. And now please ignore my provisioning profiles for all our apps that are already set up, but very important are the signing identities. The app must be signed with a certificate for your company or for your account if you're an individual freelancer. So I click on the plus sign and say, well, I need the iOS development. And as you see here, in the background, it's working, and the signing identity was generated successfully. That's important. And now, of course, we need the distribution certificate too. With this, we can give apps to Apple for review and for distribution in the App Store. Again, it starts to work, and your signing identity was successfully generated. That's really good news. We're done here. Now, let's go to Safari and look again at the certificates. And you see we have both certificates. That's my private certificate for the developer, and this is the company certificate for distribution. This should be set up too in your Keychain. So you need this here, these certificates, and then let's look into the Keychain utility. And these are the important certificates. The one below is the iPhone developer, that's me. And you see with the triangle, if you click it, it opens up and I see this is my private key. This is important, this needs to be here, otherwise nothing will work. The same goes for distribution if you want to distribute your apps using the Apple App Store. Click on the triangle and it must be connected to the private key. So if you have these certificates here, both of them connected to private keys, then you're set up correctly. Now we want to create a little app. So we have the certificates in place, that's good. Now we go to the identifiers, App IDs. For each app, you need to have an App ID. So let's set one up. Let's call it ABC for a small app that is listed at the beginning. And now I take the team prefix, that's the one you should use, team ID, and we want to have the explicit app ID. So you call it, for example, com.yourcompany.myABCapp. And here you can click some stuff, but you don't need it for TigerCreate apps. Now I click on continue. You see my app ID is listed here. This is my package name. I can copy it because I might need it later. And now I say submit. Registration is complete. We now have an app ID for our app. You see, it's ABC. I can click it. Now you need to set up your iOS device for testing. Go to Devices and click on the plus sign. Now enter the name of your device, for example, iPad Air Andreas, and put in the UDID number of your device. If you don't know it, it's easy to get it. Just open iTunes and select your device. And here you see the serial number. And now that's a bit hidden. Click on the serial number and suddenly you see the UDID number. Use the context menu, mouse click, and copy the UDID number. And paste it here into the member center. Continue, and there you can see you can set it up and register the device. I already did it, so I cancel. Now you see a list of all your devices, and these are the devices you can test your apps on if you use the ad hoc profile, the provisioning profile we're soon to set up. That's the next step here. We want to set up a distribution provisioning profile. So I use the plus sign. I want to have an ad hoc provisioning profile so I can test on my test devices. Continue. That's my app, the app ID of the app I want to use. Continue. That's my company. Continue. And now I normally just select all devices I entered into my devices list. If you continue, you can give it a name like ABC app ad hoc. So I know it's my ad hoc testing profile and I say generate. It's done. And now I set the same thing up for the App Store if I want to publish it using the App Store. Again, click on plus. Now use distribution App Store. Continue. Again, use the app ID of your app, the company, and now let's call it ABC App Store. Generate. I'm done. Now, look in all provisioning profiles. You see you have two provisioning profiles, one for testing on your devices and one for the App Store for your next app. Now change to Xcode and open up the preferences again. Go to your company's profile, say View Details. Yeah, the iOS development and iOS distribution signing identity is already set up. And now click on this round arrow. And now your provisioning profiles are downloaded from the Apple service to your computer. Do not use this right now. It's for Mac app development. Just say not now. And wait till the spinning circle here stops spinning. And you should have your provisioning profiles set up. Click on this one for alphabetic ordering, and you have the ABC app ad hoc profile and the ABC app store profile. Both are correctly set up now. And that's it. We now have everything in Xcode that we need to produce apps using TigerCreate. That's the end of part 1 of the iOS distribution tutorial.